Have you ever woken up feeling absolutely charged up, ready to conquer your goals, only for that burning fire to just fizzle out a few hours later? You know that feeling, right? You start something new with all this incredible energy. Maybe it's a new diet, a workout routine, or finally tackling that big project you've been dreaming about. You're super excited, picturing yourself achieving amazing things. But then life kicks in, the initial buzz dies down, and suddenly that grand vision feels like a Herculean task. That crushing disappointment when you realize you've fallen off track again. That little voice in your head whispering, "What's wrong with me? Why can't I just stick with anything?" If you felt this, trust us, you're definitely not alone. It's a struggle we all face. And before we dive deep into the nitty-gritty, if you don't want to miss out on valuable insights like these in future episodes, make sure to hit that follow button for our channel, Think and Rebound. So today we're tackling a question that really gets to the heart of long-term success. What is it that truly keeps us going when that initial spark of excitement inevitably fades away? Let's kick things off with Anya. Anya had this amazing dream of becoming a super successful freelance graphic designer. And let me tell you, she was incredibly talented. Her eye for design was sharp, and her portfolio already looked pretty impressive. When she decided to take the leap and go full-time freelance, she was absolutely buzzing. The thought of being her own boss, setting her own hours, and creating beautiful stuff for clients, it filled her with this almost magical sense of purpose.
You know, we've all been there, right? That rush of energy when you jump into something brand new, something you're really passionate about. It feels like nothing can even touch you.
Totally. Anya spent weeks painstakingly building her website, crafting mock-ups, networking like crazy. She actually landed her first few clients pretty fast, and all that positive feedback just fired her up even more. She was putting in 12-hour days, literally running on ambition and the pure joy of doing what she absolutely loved. She thought to herself, "This is it. I've found my true calling, and I'm just going to ride this wave of motivation forever."
And that's exactly where a lot of us hit a snag, isn't it? We put too much stock in that initial feeling, that first big burst.
Bingo. And that's exactly what happened to Anya. After about 6 months, the shine started to wear off. Those 12-hour days began to feel less like passionate dedication and more like, well, just plain long hours. Some clients were a real handful. Projects sometimes hit unexpected snags, and let's be honest, the money wasn't rolling in as quickly as she'd hoped. One morning, she woke up, glanced at her to-do list, and felt absolutely nothing. Just this heavy, sinking feeling of dread. If we were in Anya's shoes, many of us might feel the exact same way. When that initial burst of euphoria fades, it's incredibly easy to just start questioning everything.
This is the make or break moment, folks. This is where most people just throw in the towel. When that emotional high finally settles and the real grind begins, that's when your true grit and determination are really put to the test.
Anya found herself at a crossroads. Either give in to that crushing wave of demotivation or somehow find a way to push through it. Thankfully, she chose to push. But it wasn't some sudden burst of new inspiration. Her first really profound realization was this: her success simply couldn't depend solely on how she felt on any given day. And this is where the magic of discipline steps in. Discipline isn't about waiting to feel like doing something. It's about doing what absolutely needs to be done, no matter how you're feeling. It's about consciously building habits and systems that automatically support your goals, even when your emotional energy tank is completely empty.
Think of it like hitting the gym. You don't just go when you feel super motivated, right? You go because it's a non-negotiable part of your routine, part of your commitment to your health. And over time, that steady consistency builds real strength, far more than just random bursts of effort.
Exactly. Anya smartly started by creating a very structured daily routine for herself. Instead of just waiting around for inspiration to strike, she set specific, dedicated hours for client work, for marketing herself, and for developing new skills. She also got smart about breaking down those huge, intimidating projects into smaller, much more manageable tasks. Even if she only had a measly 30 minutes of focused energy, she would dedicate it to just one of those small tasks. She also became really good at self-awareness and understanding her own personal energy cycles. She noticed her creative energy was always highest in the mornings, so she smartly scheduled her most demanding design tasks for that golden window. Afternoons were then reserved for more administrative work or client communication, which required a different kind of focus.
And this isn't about turning yourself into a robot, by the way. It's about really getting to know your own patterns and then working with yourself, not constantly fighting against your natural flow.
Oh, absolutely. Anya also discovered the incredible power of small wins. Instead of feeling totally overwhelmed by the entire becoming a successful freelancer mountain, she started celebrating just completing a single design element, sending out a batch of invoices, or even simply sticking to her planned work hours for the day. These tiny victories, when they stacked up over time, built serious momentum and really reinforced her belief in her own ability to just keep going. One time, Anya had this huge client project due, and she was just completely wiped out. She'd pulled an all-nighter the day before for another super urgent task, and her motivation, it was at rock bottom. She felt this overwhelming urge to just push the deadline, to tell the client she was sick, anything to escape.
This is that emotional dip we were talking about earlier. That moment where you just feel like throwing in the towel completely. How many of us have faced this exact painful scenario?
Instead of giving in, Anya remembered her discipline. She set a timer for just 25 minutes. Like the Pomodoro technique. Her goal wasn't to magically finish the whole project, but just to work on it for those 25 minutes. She zeroed in on one tiny section, completely ignored her phone, and just started. When the timer dinged, she felt this tiny little spark. She took a quick 5-minute break, then set the timer again. By breaking it all down and truly relying on her pre-established routine, rather than just waiting for motivation to magically appear, she slowly but surely chipped away at that project. She actually finished it right on time, and the client was absolutely thrilled. This one small, disciplined act, when her emotions were absolutely screaming at her to just quit, was what ultimately saved her reputation and built up her confidence so much.
This isn't just about huge career goals either. Discipline applies to literally everything. Take John, for example, who really wanted to learn a new language. He was super excited at first, downloaded all the apps, bought all the textbooks, but after a few weeks, That initial novelty just wore off, and his irregular practice meant he wasn't really making much progress. He started feeling pretty frustrated, as you can imagine.
We've all been there with a new hobby or skill, haven't we? That amazing initial burst of enthusiasm that slowly, almost imperceptibly, fades into maybe tomorrow I'll get to it.
Exactly. So John then smartly shifted his entire mindset. Instead of just waiting to feel like studying, he committed to a non-negotiable 15 minutes of language practice every single morning, literally right after his coffee. It wasn't about the sheer length of time, but the absolute consistency. He put it on his calendar and he treated it like a super important appointment. Some days, those 15 minutes felt like a total chore. Other days, they just flowed. But the point was, he showed up. And over the course of a year, those consistent 15 minutes added up to hundreds of hours of solid learning, making him quite proficient.
This is the absolute core principle, guys. Small, consistent actions driven by discipline are infinitely more powerful than those big, sporadic bursts of motivation. Motivation is an amazing spark, yes, but discipline is the steady fuel that keeps that fire burning brightly, even when that spark is long, long gone.
Let's think about Sarah, who really wanted to save money for a down payment on a house. She initially had this huge surge of motivation, cutting out literally all unnecessary expenses for a few weeks. But then a friend's birthday came up, followed by a sale she just had to take advantage of. Her entire savings plan totally derailed.
It's almost too easy to justify those exceptions, isn't it? We've all done it.
It absolutely is. So Sarah then made a smart move and decided to implement a highly disciplined approach. She set up an automatic transfer of a fixed amount from her checking account to her savings account every single payday before she even saw the money. This was her non-negotiable. She also smartly allowed herself a small, clearly defined discretionary spending budget each week, so she didn't feel completely deprived. The real key here was that automated, disciplined action that completely removed the need for daily motivation to save.
These stories, Anya's, John's, Sarah's, they really illustrate such a powerful truth. True success isn't about passively waiting for some magical inspiration to strike, or for motivation to somehow miraculously carry you through every single hurdle. No, it's about consciously building a rock-solid framework, a set of disciplined habits that empower you to keep moving forward even when you feel utterly, completely drained. It's about showing up consistently, even when you really, really don't feel like it. Think about that gut-wrenching moment when Anya felt that heavy dread, or when John felt so frustrated with his language learning, or when Sarah's careful savings plans seemed to be just slipping away. If they had simply waited for motivation to reappear, to magically reignite, they would have absolutely failed. But what did they choose? They chose discipline. They chose to act not based on a fleeting feeling, but on unwavering commitment to their goals. This isn't about being overly harsh on yourself, by the way. Quite the opposite. It's about being incredibly kind to your future self. It's about strategically setting yourself up for success, specifically for those moments when your emotional state is low, when you feel completely depleted. It's about truly understanding that motivation is often a fleeting, beautiful visitor, but discipline? Discipline is that loyal, steadfast companion that will walk with you through the toughest, most challenging terrains no matter what.
Look, it's super important to acknowledge that there will be days, probably many, many days, when discipline feels like a real burden, when the path ahead looks incredibly long and dark, and you just want to give up. And you know what? That's perfectly okay. It's a completely normal part of the human experience. We're not robots, after all.
Exactly. And it's not about achieving some impossible perfection. It's about consistency, not intensity. If you happen to miss a day or even 2 days, the absolute key is to just get right back on track the very next day. Don't let one small slip completely derail your entire incredible journey. So, to quickly recap our journey today, we kicked off with Anya, who was just bursting with motivation, but then she hit a major wall when that initial spark eventually faded. She learned to build her success not on those fleeting emotions, but on the rock-solid foundation of discipline. By smartly creating routines, breaking down overwhelming tasks, deeply understanding her own energy, and consistently celebrating even the smallest wins.
Then we saw how John used consistent, even super short periods of disciplined practice to successfully learn a new language, and how Sarah brilliantly employed automated, disciplined saving to finally reach her big financial goals.
The common thread running through all their stories, they all deeply understood that while motivation is amazing and gets you started, discipline is what truly keeps you going when motivation is nowhere, and I mean nowhere, to be found. It's that unwavering, quiet commitment to your long-term goals, even when the short-term discomfort feels absolutely overwhelming.
So, after hearing all this, where do you start? Don't even try to change everything at once. That's just too much. Just choose one single thing from what we've talked about today. Is it setting a non-negotiable 15-minute daily block for that new skill you've been wanting to learn? Or is it taking that one overwhelming project and breaking it down into just the very first, smallest, most manageable step? Or maybe it's simply automating a small saving contribution every single payday.
Pick just one. Seriously, just one. And then start today. Don't just sit around waiting for motivation to strike. Instead, consciously start building the discipline that will genuinely carry you through, long after that initial, exciting buzz has completely faded. Because that, my friends, is the real, ultimate secret to truly sustained success.